The Asus Ally X is the best Steam Deck alternative you can buy. It has an 80-watt battery, an enhanced cooling system of up to 24%, and a new port arrangement that gives users options for peripherals and external displays, enhancing the overall experience. As a person who loves the Steam Deck, you've got to appreciate what the Ally X brings to the table. Don't get me wrong, the Steam Deck is the best handheld PC ever, but the Ally X has something going for it too. With an improved battery life, which has been a big blow to most Windows handhelds, the Ally X can provide 3 hours of AAA gameplay and 5 hours of indie games. The Asus Ally X is the first Windows handheld I can recommend as a Steam Deck alternative. That is, if you've got a little extra cash and don't mind wrestling with Windows 11. Now let me get this out of the way. Windows sucks on handheld PCs. With bloated software features, poor battery drainage, and inconsistent updates, the experience is ruined on most handhelds. However, Windows has advantages, such as support for nearly the entire PC library, including titles from Steam, Epic Games Store, Xbox Game Pass, and more. If you want to play popular online multiplayer games, especially those with strict anti-cheat systems like Fortnite or Call of Duty, you are definitely going to play them on Windows. While some anti-cheat solutions are available on Linux, most still require Windows for full compatibility. Most people are comfortable with Windows, making things like setup, troubleshooting, and customization more straightforward. However, if you don't like Windows, you can install other operating systems like Buzzard OS to give you that SteamOS feel. But before we dive into the video, I'm trying to hit 2,000 subscribers, so if you could take time and hit the subscribe button, it would mean a lot to me. Thank you. Now let's dive into the video and see why the Asus Ally X is the best Steam Deck alternative. The Ally X comes at $800, which is pretty high for a handheld, but the benefits you get are non-negotiable. The Ally X has a 7-inch screen with 1920 by 1080p resolution, which is enough to play games on a big screen. Also, the screen has a refresh rate of 120Hz, which means you will enjoy playing games as they feel smooth and faster, and 500 nits brightness with Gorilla Glass Victus for durability. All this is a standard for a modern handheld PC. However, I would have appreciated for an OLED display for brighter and better quality images over the LCD. Something worth mentioning is that the Ally X has a glass finish, so you're going to see reflections while outside or within a lit room. Since it's not an OLED screen, the viewing angles can appear distorted when viewed off-center. However, this isn't a major issue as you will typically be playing games head-on, given that it's a handheld device. The Ally X has similar design to the original Ally, both having the same offset thumbsticks, ABXY buttons, D-pad, and 2 programmable back buttons. However, there are no trackpads included like on the Steam Deck, but you can still use the joystick and buttons for navigation. The hand grips are larger and more comfortable to hold, featuring a textured surface with the subtle RIG logos for added grip. There are additional features like HDR haptics, which bring that vibration when playing games. You get RGB lighting on the thumbsticks like on the original Ally, which you can customize in the settings or even switch off completely. On top of the Ally X, there are 2 USB-C ports, a 3.5 headphone jack, and a power button. There is also Bluetooth 5.2 and Wi-Fi 6E for fast connectivity to improve speeds while playing online games. When it comes to performance, the Ally X doesn't disappoint. It is powered by the AMD Ryzen Z1 Extreme chip, which is found on most handheld PCs like the original Ally, built on a 4nm processor, delivering elite handheld gaming performance. You also get an upgraded RAM of up to 24GB, allowing high texture settings without sacrificing performance. I tested a wide range of games and the Ally X genuinely impressed me with its performance. Playing Cyberpunk 2077 was especially smooth thanks to the 120Hz display and improved graphics performance, both clear upgrades over the previous generation. Running the game in turbo mode, I consistently hit 60 FPS, which honestly caught me by surprise. Keep in mind the Ally X uses the same processor found in most handhelds, but it still manages to outperform my Steam Deck, which helps deliver smooth performance by eliminating screen tearing and stuttering. Personally, I didn't notice any major difference during my game sessions, but I've seen others report that it significantly impacted their gameplay experience. I would love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments if this made a noticeable difference for you. The Ally X comes equipped with a 1TB SSD, which is user upgradable, a major plus for storage flexibility. You can swap it out for higher capacity drives, even up to 8TB, depending on your needs. That kind of expandability is rare in handhelds and gives you real long-term versatility. Performance-wise, the Ally X offers multiple power profiles: silent mode at 80 watts, performance mode at 15 to 20 watts, and turbo mode at 25 watts and up to 30 watts when plugged into AC power. These tiers allow you to balance performance and battery life based on the game you're playing. Whether you're optimizing for quiet operation or trying to push AAA game titles at their highest settings, these modes give you meaningful control over your experience. The Ally X can also function as a productivity machine thanks to its 24GB of RAM. Running apps like Microsoft Word or streaming videos on YouTube is smooth and effortless. However, the 7-inch display can feel limiting for extended productivity tasks, especially if you're used to working on larger displays. Now, one big thing the Ally X is better than most Windows-based handhelds is the battery. This comes with an 80-watt battery with fast 64-watt charging. The battery life can last around 3 hours under heavy AAA gaming and up to 14 hours of video playback. This is an area where the Steam Deck beats most handheld PCs because of how SteamOS optimizes the device to run smoothly and on battery. I got nearly an entire extra hour of Shadow of the Tomb Raider compared to the Steam Deck already at 720p and medium specs using the Ally X's default power mode. That has been the best I've seen for most games that intensive. One thing I can't stand, and you all agree, is Windows cannot be reliable to make a gaming handheld go the fuck to sleep and wake up again. The Nintendo Switch does it perfectly, and the Steam Deck does it nearly perfectly, but I couldn't keep track of the number of times Windows decided I could no longer recognize my fingerprint or ended up black screening my game. I hope Microsoft fixes these inconsistencies and makes handheld gaming usable and reliable, or else Windows handhelds have a long way to go in order to be better than Linux-based handhelds. The Asus Ally X is not perfect, but it's easily the most capable Windows handheld on the market right now. It beats the Steam Deck in raw performance, display responsiveness, and port flexibility, but it trails in OS optimization and polish. I hope it normalizes bigger batteries and Asus will seriously consider a SteamOS version 2. I'm looking forward to testing out Bazzite OS, which most of you have recommended later in the future. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. See you in the next video.